the Berliner Mauer, the Berlin Wall. This is an original part of what the men in this building, the East German government, called, you'll love this, brilliant, the anti-fascist protection rampart. Because they built this wall to stop all those awful fascists from the West getting into the East and spoiling the socialist utopia. Yeah? But if you believe that, you really will believe anything. We know why they built the Berlin Wall. It's to stop people escaping their regime and getting into the West. Not as big as you thought it would be, I assume. A lot of people think it's going to be twice the size of that. You can. Some of you probably looking at this and you're probably thinking I could get over that. It's not that hard actually. To my eternal shame, I have climbed over the Berlin Wall. About 6 weeks ago, me and one of my colleagues, Sebastian, we got absolutely stinking drunk after one of our tours, and we climbed over another section of the Berlin Wall in Friedrichshain. So it can be done. And we'd had about 3/4 of a bottle of Jägermeister at that point. So it can be done. I need you guys now that when we're talking about the Berlin Wall, I need you guys to use your imagination a little bit. I want you guys to think of home, yeah? Your own homes in your own towns and cities. And I want you to imagine you go to bed one night into your own bed, fall asleep. Let's say it's the 12th of August 1961. You wake up in the morning on the 13th of August 1961 and there's a new reality in your world. They've started building walls. Yeah. And forget, for the time being, forget about the awful symbolism of living in a world in which they must build walls. Just think about the logistics of your own life. Because you might wake up on the 13th of August 1961 and you've lost your job. Because your job's on the other side of the wall. You can't get across. So you might find you've lost your school, your college, your university. It's on the other side of the wall, so education's gone. You might find you've lost something a little bit more important than that. Yeah, your family. Your parents live on the other side of the wall. Goodbye. Yeah, your grandparents. Never going to see them again. Your children, your grandchildren, your brothers and sisters. Yeah, all your friends, your boyfriend or girlfriend. Yeah, maybe they live on the other side of the wall. You've lost them. Some people woke up on the 13th of August 1961 and they had literally lost everything that mattered to them in their lives, because overnight 25,000 East German soldiers surround West Berlin and they roll out a barbed wire barricade in an instant. So the Berlin Wall comes down like that. No one expected it. Some people just get caught out there on the wrong side of the wall and they lost so much. I've seen photographs of people standing near the Berlin Wall holding up babies so that their grandparents in buildings like that one on the other side can catch a glimpse of their own grandchildren. But instead of holding their grandchildren in their arms like they're supposed to, they're looking at them through binoculars. This is tearing people's families apart. But these guys in this building, they didn't care about that. They didn't give a damn. They just want one thing: to hold on to power. That's all they care about. And it crushes people's lives. It's a difficult obstacle to pass because you might think, well, why not just climb over? Well, it's not as easy as that. You've got one wall here. This is the exact border between East and West. They did it on postal districts, so it kind of takes a jagged, funny route through the city. You'd have another wall where we're standing. The space between these two walls is a no man's land, and they call it the Death Strip. And with good reason. This is a tough obstacle. You've got soft sand in the Death Strip. Where are Brazilians? You guys have probably played a bit of beach football, yeah? It's quite hard to run on the sand, isn't it? It slows you down. It's even harder if that sand has got spikes underneath the level of the sand, so as you run along, step in the wrong place, you skewer your feet down onto those spikes. It's going to slow you right down. Yeah? You've got attack dogs, trip wires. If you kick those trip wires, it's terrifying because it doesn't cause an explosion that kills you, it causes a siren to go off. And if you hear that siren, that alarm, you've got a couple of seconds to live. Because in buildings like this one, and in custom-made watchtowers all the way around West Berlin, you've got snipers, sharpshooters, and these guys will shoot to kill, because get this, it's incredible. If those guys shot and killed you in the Death Strip, they'd be in line for a cash bonus in their paycheck. So if you shoot someone in the back with a high-powered rifle, you win a cash prize. It's not the kind of society that most of us want to live in. I should say though, one thing it's very important to say is that a lot of people were really, really happy living over in East Germany. You still meet old Easterners now and they still talk about it. They call it Ostalgia. The German word for East is Ost. They call it Ostalgia because a lot of them like the fact that they would never lose their house or their job. There'd always be heat, there'd always be food. But the one thing that they talk about is the feeling of community they had over there. You know, this feeling of everyone being in it for each other, everyone working together. Berlin's an incredibly friendly city. You know, if you fall down in the street in Berlin, people will rush from all sides to come and help you. You know, can you imagine doing that in London or Paris? Yeah, you'd be there for weeks. But here in Berlin, people look out for each other, and it's a throwback to those socialised days. So you know, maybe there's a happy medium between them. I don't know, but other people wanted choice, and that's for me what it boils down to. You know, the chance to choose your own destiny, not have it decided for you. Some people try to escape. Berliners are a clever bunch. People dug tunnels underneath the wall. A couple of families worked together, and they made a homemade hot air balloon in secret and floated over the Berlin Wall. One guy, this is absolute genius, he stands at the checkpoints just watching them for days and days, watching how they move, the shift changes, watching everything. Then he goes home and he makes himself a badly forged west to east diplomatic visa. Now he's living in the east, west to east. So he sneaks up to the checkpoint, kind of goes along the thing, walks around, waits for the guard to look away, jumps up, then springs up in front of the window and says, "Hi, I'm from the West. I've got this diplomatic visa. I'm going to go and visit my friends over in the East." And the border guard takes one look at it and said, "I'm sorry, that's a forgery." And the guy goes, "You're kidding me. I've just given somebody 100 Deutschmarks for that." And the guy says, "Sorry, it's a forgery. You'll have to go back to the West." And the guy goes, "What a pity." Absolute genius. Absolute genius. There's loads of stories. I'm going to put a little bit of distance between us and Lewis's group there. So I'll tell you my favourite story. Move in a little bit here, guys, because my voice is going to go here and I don't want to shout too loud. This is my favourite story of somebody crossing the Berlin Wall, because it's a love story. And I'm a born romantic. I really am. It's also a story about a man being not that romantic. See what you think about this guy. I can never figure out. This story is 100% true, by the way. This guy lives in West Berlin. His girlfriend lives in East Berlin, and he loves her very much. But then one day, bam, the Berlin Wall comes, and he's lost her, and his heart is broken. But to his credit, this guy, he never stops loving her. Never stops dreaming of her. He takes on a second job. He's going to try and bribe a local American diplomat to get one of those diplomatic visas to her. He just wants to hold her in his arms. It's beautiful. But then one day, this romantic guy, he happens upon the least romantic plan I've ever heard in my life. He's walking around West Berlin, and across the road, he sees another girl. And this girl is a look-alike to his girlfriend, a doppelganger, a double. Call it what you will. And he's like, "Oh my God," runs across the road, he's like, "Ah." And then he realizes it's not his girlfriend, and he gets talking to her. And then he gets an idea. And he says to her, "Hey you, what are you doing tonight? Do you wanna go and grab a beer or something?" And she's like, she's a little bit taken aback. I don't know if you know this, but she's kind of thinking, this guy's really forward. And the reason for that is that here in Germany, the girls ask the guys out. So girls, if you go out tonight and no men come up to you, it's not because you're not pretty, it's because they're all super shy. And what German guys do is they come and stand next to you, they kind of look goofy, it's a really weird technique. So this girl, you might have seen, if you live in Germany, you've probably seen this, it's really weird. But this girl, she's like, well, he's a bit cheeky, this guy, but he's kind of cute. So she says, "Yeah, right, let's go for a drink." So they go out, they have a beer, they have a lovely time. He's a perfect gentleman. A few days later, they have another day. Theatre, cinema, restaurant, a walk in the park. You know, they're seeing each other, they're an item. And she thinks he's lovely, but all the time, he's dreaming of his lost love over in the East. And then one day he says to his new girlfriend, he says, "Hey you, I've got a surprise for you. I've been saving up loads of money, and I know a guy, I can get us a couple of visas to visit the East. We can go and see friends and family, people we haven't seen for years since the wall went up. Do you want to come?" And she's like, "Yeah." Oh my God, she can't believe how lucky she is. She tells all her friends, she says, "We're going away together. We're going to go to East Berlin, visit friends and family. This guy, he's paying for everything, this guy. You know what? He must really love me. Meanwhile, he gets word to his lost love over in the east. He says, meet me on this street at this time. Don't ask any questions, just be there. So the big day comes. They drive down to the checkpoint. She's got her passport, her visa, everything's in order. They show it to the guard, they're through, puts them in the glove compartment, and then they're driving around East Berlin. And she's thinking, I wonder where we're going next. He has slightly different ideas. Without any warning, he slams on the brakes of his car, leans over, opens the door, says, I'm so sorry, pushes his new girlfriend out of the car, drives around the corner, picks up his old girlfriend, races her to the checkpoint, and gets her through into the West with his new girlfriend's passport and visa. He's rescued her. How romantic is that? What? What? Yeah, girlfriend number 2. She's got big problems there, yeah? She's stuck in East Berlin. She's got no passport, no visa, no ID. She's got no clue as to what's just happened. So she thinks, well, I might as well go home. So she sets off walking home. But between her and home, there's a big wall with loads of armed guards on it. So she goes up to the checkpoint guard. Put yourself in the shoes of the guard here at the checkpoint. You know, this girl comes up to you, her hair's all over the place, she's been crying, there's all that mascara dripping down her face. She looks like a crazy lady. Yeah? And she comes up to you and says, you're never going to believe what just happened. And the border guard says, no, I don't believe what's just happened. Get back, she's trapped, living someone else's life in a foreign country. There's a happy ending there, you'll be pleased to hear. She complains enough. She gets witnesses to come over, they fetch new ID for her, they prove who she is, she's allowed back into the West. When she gets into the West, she calls the cops. Calls the cops because she's a law-abiding citizen, she's a German, all done this ordinance. Yeah, so she calls the cops, tells them about the guy, they go and arrest him, charge him with fraud, they send him to jail for 7 months, but his one true love has been allowed to stay in the West, so when he's released from jail, who's waiting for him at the prison gates? They're finally reunited. They get married? Don't go on. They probably got divorced 6 months later. Yeah. 30 hours later. No. I don't know what happened after that, but it just goes to show the lengths that people will go. You know, I can never figure out if that guy is a hero or a villain. You know? But normally I have to say that's unusual, because normally the reaction to this story splits down gender lines, in that all the girls are like, oh, men. And all the guys are secretly going, yeah, but it's a really clever idea. Anyway, guys, it's time for our break. We're going to go to a cafe called Fresco on Friedrichstraße. On the way is a place called Checkpoint Charlie. You've probably all heard of Checkpoint Charlie. Once over, it used to be the most important place on Earth. Today, it is the most rotten tourist trap on Earth. Everything there is a terrible fake. Everything there is designed to get euros out of your pocket. There are people there that will take your euros without asking as well, if you catch my drift. So make sure that your purses and your wallets and cameras and stuff like that are where you can see them. We're going to stop there for 2-3 minutes, and then we'll grab a sandwich and a coffee. How's that sound? All right, let's do it.